Hello, everybody. Welcome to another current affairs session. We'll be covering the current affairs from the last week, that is from 9th of August to 15th of August. So, we have 9 topics to cover from the last week current affairs. The topics are, the first one is E-Samudra. The first one is your E-Samudra, that is the digital administration in the maritime uh, governance of India. Then we have the Kommu Koya tribe, which is in the news for a particular reason of eco-friendly uh, building of their instruments, I mean musical instrument. And this Kommu Koya tribe has been in the news for a good number of times earlier also. And such tribes, whenever they are in the news, UPSC has the habit of asking questions from this tribe. Then the third one is a very, you know, important and good achievement for India, where NASA has invited ISRO to join its lunar outpost mission in the moon. Then the fourth one is a concern for India, where the Mecca joint defense agreement was signed between 3 countries: Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and your Pakistan. Then we have a controversial bill which has been passed, that is the Mines and Mineral Amendment Bill. Then we have the NCST, that is the Scheduled Tribe Atrocity Act, though this is something which the government had just proposed the change or the amendment, but nothing has been done yet of now. Then we have a very devastating news of from coming from Colombia, where there was a earthquake of 7.4 magnitude. Then we have the Nameri Tiger Reserve, which was in the news, and finally a very you know kind of a um, happy news, where peacocks were gifted in the UN park to symbolize peace. Now, let's go into the articles. The first article is your E-Samudra. E-Samudra. So, the government of India, that is from the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways, has launched a platform to modernize the administration and governance of maritime in India. That is, we know that in today's day, the government of India is more moving towards digital form of governance, that is from paper to paperless form of governance. The same thing has been seen in the maritime administration, where this particular portal E-Samudra was launched for digital governance. Okay, so nodal minister is the port and shipping waterway, but the implementation agency is the Directorate General of Maritime Administration. Now, what is this portal? So, the first thing is a single window system. Okay, so it is an integrated portal which will have all different departments and other different offices of the maritime administration, wherein a seafarer can submit, can ask for redressal of grievance, or can apply for any application in one single platform, that is the E-Samudra. So this is a single window system. Now here you'll hear the word seafarer. Okay, seafarer means, basically in simple word, you can talk about all the people who works in ships, works in the ports, like the crew members, like the waiters, the cleaners, and all etc. So these are all together called as seafarer. So it's a single window system where everything will be integrated for the seafarer, shipping companies, and the port authorities. So you do not have to, or the seafarer or the companies do not have to go and browse through multiple sites for different purposes. They can do it in one portal, that is E-Samudra. So it is basically ease of living for seafarer. So you can conclude this as it will improve the ease of living for the seafarer or farers. So they do not have to wonder, or they do not have to roam around from different departments to departments. Then end to end workflow. Okay, like I said you, it will facilitate online application, online documents upload, payment system, and it will also ensure the real time status tracking. So if any work has been uploaded in the portal and the person wants to check how far the work has progressed, they can check or they can track their work in the E-Samudra. And definitely the last is that it will, not the last basically, it will bring the ease of living for seafarer, where simplified issuance of the continuous discharge certificate for the seafarer also will happen through the E-Samudra portal. Next is that it will have a 24 into 7 grievance redressal, that is which is called as e-Navik, that is for in times of emergencies, in terms of distress, this portal will kind of notify each and every department in one single go and will enable help at the earliest. And it will also focus into inclusion of mental inclusion and mental health, because we know these seafarers, they stay in the ocean for a very long period of time, and this takes a toll on their physical health and also in their mental health. Recently we have seen a news that wherein a US seafarer who stays in the ocean for 8-9 months continuously, because of the pressure from the government and from the shipping companies, those seafarer tends to have suicidal tendency after they get back to their home or get back to the land, because of instability and because of a lot of uh, trauma which they have faced in the ocean. So basically, this portal also will enable the mental health. That is, it will complement with the welfare programs like Sagar Mein Samman, that is, which was a program for the expanding the opportunities of women, and also Sagar Mein Yog, that is exercise and other physical well-being. Now, what is the significance of this portal in our UPSC perspective, or how can we conclude or go with a way forward approach with this particular portal? Basically, you see that this portal will align with the Maritime Amrit Kal, which we are focusing by 2047. So to reach our Maritime Amrit Kal vision of 2047, this portal of E-Samudra will basically make it possible. Then also definitely after 2014, when our Prime Minister came to the office, he said that minimum government, more governance, okay, or maximum governance will also be fulfilled with this portal in maritime administration, and definitely it will push India in becoming top 5 ship building nation by improving the ease of doing business. So basically, investors, whenever they come to India, because of this large paperwork or tapism, red tapism, basically they do not tend to invest and do not tend to go through this rigorous or lengthy process of documentation. But in such portal where there is one window solution, definitely people will find it easier for doing business. So it will not just improve the ease of living of seafarer, but also it will improve the ease of doing business in the shipping sector. The next article is your the Kommu Koya tribes, the shift to eco-friendly practice. So before we go into the basically we are going to understand about the Kommu Koya tribes, but why they are in the news? Because they have found out, or they have started a new means of eco-friendly instrument building. That is, this Kommu Koya tribes, they use flutes, which were made of bison horns. So the horns of the bisons were taken out, and then they were used to make flutes for their festival celebration or other traditional activities. So as because of this, what happens is that there was a constant conflict with the forest department and also government of India, because to make the flute which was important for the traditional practices, the bisons had to be killed. So this resulted into depletion of the bisons population in the regions wherever these Kommu Koya tribes resided. So this Kommu Koya tribe, they also understood that because of their traditional practice, the population of bison is reducing. So they have opted for an alternative means of making flutes, that is through the leaves of palm trees. Okay, so they have basically made it possible that even though you have a long tradition of practicing certain trades, you can change it with the present need. That is, they are now using palm leaves to make these flutes. Earlier it was bison. Okay, now this tribe was also in the news for various other reason, like They were in the news for the ST status. That is, some of the subordinates of the tribe were not granted ST status, and thus they were in the news because of the SC judgment. Then they were also in the news because of the Mahua liquor, because this liquor is made out from the tree Mahua, or the fruits of Mahua tree, and this liquor was considered as illegal and was banned. But we know in tradition, in tribal regions, consumption of alcohol or consumption of naturally produced alcohol is very mandate in their social and cultural setting. So for all these reasons also they were in the news. Apart from this, they were also in the news because of the construction of the Polavaram dam, which resulted in displacement of this tribe. So this tribe was particularly in the news for a large number of time, and this time they were in the news because of this eco-friendly practice of transforming their means of making flutes from the bison horn to palm leaves. Now, where are these tribes basically located? They are located in the Papikonda hill range of Andhra Pradesh, and they speak the Koya Bhasha, which is a Dravidian language. And apart from Andhra Pradesh, they are also found in Telangana, I mean the northeastern region of Telangana. They are found in northern Andhra Pradesh. They are found in South Chhattisgarh and in the southwestern region of Orissa. Now, this tribe, if you look into the historical profile, they were basically armed soldiers, but now today they are, the cultivators or settle cultivators and artisans specialized in bamboo furniture. If you look into their diets, they basically rely on consumption of millet, jowar, ragi, bajra, tuber, and locally whatever forest edible substance, fruits or leaves they are present. Okay. Now, the contemporary threat, apart from this, like I told you, because of the Polavaram project, there has been large scale displacement of this tribe in Andhra Pradesh. And also, there is loss of traditional forest land because of various development activities, and this has impacted their nutrition, this has impacted their lifestyle, and also this has forced them to go and work as daily wage laborers in the urban centers. Another very interesting fact about this tribe is that they carry 70% of Y haplogroups age, and it is one of the rarest in the region or Southeast Asian region. Now, this tribe is also unique because they are one of the few tribes with multi-racial and multi-linguist characteristics. Generally, tribals, they have a uni-linguistic characteristics, but this tribe has a multi-linguistic characteristics. Now, what can we do, or what can be the way forward for the solving the problems of this tribe? First is that implementation of Forest Right Act 2006. Okay, this will secure the land rights of the tribal groups, and also will enable them to use the resources of the forest for their regular daily purposes. Next is to formalize the tribal art economy. That is, we know that they are a good artisans, which they are specialized in crafting of bamboo furniture. So this art can be used in economical terms, wherein these tribal groups products can be sold in the nation or in the global market, and also this will enable the recognition, not just recognition, but also it will enable the economical growth of this tribe. And then definitely last is the sensitized forest bureaucracy to balance the wildlife and the cultural heritage, because the bureaucracy should not be very harsh towards one particular thing, that is, I'll only protect the wildlife and I will not look into the tribal population living in the wildlife, or in the other way, that is, I will only take care of the tribal population and I will not look into the wildlife. This has to be proper balance, or there has to be sensitization for the bureaucracy in the region. The next article is your NASA invites ISRO to join Lunar Outpost mission. Okay, now this is a very good achievement for India, because see, in the recent meeting which was held, the 9th Indian US Space Civil Space Joint Working Group meeting, which was held in Bangalore, NASA has formally invited India in their Lunar Outpost mission. So basically, they are planning to build human settlement. They're planning to send astronauts and then research and also build a human settlement in the moon's surface. And NASA has invited India in their program. Now, this is a very, very good achievement for India. And also, it is not something which has happened recently. We know there are a lot of programs which were in cooperation with ISRO and NASA. But the point is, why did NASA select India? The most important reason is the success of Chandrayaan mission of India, wherein we landed our satellite in the southern pole of the moon. And this basically gave a upper hand to ISRO, wherein the NASA administration or the authorities might have thought that India has a lot of data and India also has a good experience in terms of lunar missions. So basically, India should be in the team in our side as to make the mission a success one. Okay, now this is the reason. Okay, why, if you talk about, this is the reason of, basically this could be the reason of inviting India. Now this particular cooperation of India, like I told you, it is not for one of the first cooperation between NASA and ISRO, but there were other cooperations also which happened, like NASAR and etc. Now all of this cooperation happened under the framework of Artemis Accord. Okay, under the framework of Artemis Accord. So what is this Artemis Accord? It is nothing but it is a, it is a non binding principle. In simple word, if I tell you, it's a non binding principle which is led by the USA for, you know peaceful exploration of space. So you can say that it is an agreement, a kind of not kind of, it's an agreement which is led by USA, wherein the countries come and sign and conduct peaceful exploration of the space. And India became a signatory in 2023. So after India became a signatory, then what happens is that in this particular pool, whichever countries are signatory, at present there are around, I think it's 27 countries which are signatory. All these countries, they cooperate among themselves for peaceful exploration of the space. Now, what is the significance of this project? First, definitely it will depend the space tie between these two countries, and in future there could be more cooperation between those two countries in development of space technology. And definitely in future, what India is planning to have a space station, definitely India will be helped by NASA in developing and construction or placing of the space station in the space. Next, like I told you, NISAR mission. Another significance is NISAR mission. It will also implement and it will expand the NISAR mission to a next level, wherein which is a dual frequency radar satellite development between in ISRO and NASA. The full form of NISAR, you can say it as ISRO and NASA. Okay. Next, it will facilitate the human space flight. That is, it will facilitate the astronauts flights to Indian Space Station, oh sorry, International Space Station, okay, via Assume. And also it will transit India from being a sole explorer to a core partner explorer in the global science projects. Okay, so basically you can say that's a good news for India in terms of space development sector, wherein India can use the resources and also use the knowledge and also can collaborate with international space agencies after this program for further development. And apart from this, definitely with NASA, good hands with NASA will definitely enable India in achieving larger heights in space program. Just for a quick revision, let's look into what are India's our own lunar and space flight programs which are going to happen. The first one you have seen is the Gaganyaan. Then we have the moon landing target by 2040, and then we have the Chandrayaan legacy. Okay. The next article is your MMDR Amendment Bill, that is Mines and Mineral Amendment Bill. Okay, to understand this article, though this is in the news, and in the coming days, definitely there could be another protest uh, launched by CJP or any other party. This time, definitely the state government might launch a protest against the central government because of this particular bill. Okay, in a nutshell, if you have to understand the bill, say for example, this is Jharkhand. Okay, say for example, this is Jharkhand. Now Jharkhand has certain mineral deposits or mineral reserves ore, such as iron ore, has uh, magnesium, has limestone, and let's say has bauxite, and has, let's say, bauxite. Okay, see, as per the rules and regulation, or as per the constitution, what happens is that all of these resources which are under the administrative region of Jharkhand, okay, the Jharkhand government has the right for taxing these resources. Okay, any kind of tax or cess can be implemented by the Jharkhand government. They have the authority for implementation of any tax and cess. So basically, the state mineral taxation power is ensured by the state government. But with this bill, what they have done is that they have said that from now on, taxation power will not remain into the hands of state government, but will now come to the hands of union government. So definitely, by this nutshell, you can understand that the state government will not be happy with this amendment, because earlier, if you look into 1957, okay, earlier if you look into the MMDR 1957, this gave the authority to state government, and since then till today, until the amendment of this bill, okay, 2026, the right of taxation and putting of cess remained in the state government. So state government collected the money and they used it for different purposes. But however, they gave a percent through GST to the central government. But from now on, it is like you do not have any right of collecting, or you will not have any right of collecting or putting tax in the mines and minerals. Now all of it will go to the union government. So definitely the unhappiness with this bill might result into some kind of protest and some kind of disturbance in the country. Now, what was the reason behind the amendment of this bill? So when the state government was collecting taxes and was putting cess or duties in the mines and everything was fine. But still, why did the union government take the step of taking the entire mines and minerals taxation control under them? The first reason is the unpredictability. Okay, that is, the state government sometimes suddenly introduce tax and cess after the mining operation has been commenced. So it was not uniform. So the state government implemented tax as per their own interest. So also you can see the different states will have different taxation rating on mines and minerals. So this was the reason that the center has taken on it, and center will now make it a uniform taxation. So basically we can say that it is the, we can say the purpose, one purpose, okay, it could be uniform federalism or uniform fiscal federalism or uniform taxation. Second reason is the retrospective taxes. What is the meaning of retrospective taxes? Say, for example, today one kind of taxes has been implemented by the state government in 2026, and this says that this particular company has not paid the tax from 2015 to 2025. So now, although this time has been passed, the state government can take taxes on the basis of business done during this time period in 2026. So this is basically, in one way, people might tell it that it is good thing that is these companies did not pay tax during this time period, so now they are liable of paying it. They have done this business without paying the tax, so now they are liable of doing it. Okay, in one way it is fine, but in the other way, the company which made a lot of profit between this time period, in 2026 this company could be in a downfall or in a bankrupt state. So that does not make any sense, because here the company was earning, say example, a profit of 100 crore every year, and they were supposed to pay a tax of 20 crore. So they could have paid, but the government did not take because of various issues or various reason or documentation. But now this company is hardly making 30 crores per year because of the loss which they have faced. So now they will not able to pay the tax which is collected or which is to be collected for this particular period. So this is called as retrospective taxation. So the state does this a lot of time. So the center has said that from now on, this kind of retrospective taxation will be eliminated and will be invalid from today on. Whatever tax is to be collected will be collected from today onwards. No past tax. And then definitely non-uniformity, that is, the state government has a lack of fiscal uniformity, where there is difference of interstate taxation collection on mines and minerals, and this basically impacts various MSME miners and also impacts the investors in the states, because different investors will have different rate of taxation as they cross the state or change the state. So these are some of the reasons because of which this particular bill has been passed by the central government. Okay, the key features of this act, the first thing is the introduction of a new section 9D. Okay, this says that it states that no tax, cess or levy shall be imposed by the state government on what? Mineral rights or land, except under prescribed by the central government. So the right has been taken away from the state government. The second is very important, the treatment of past levies, the one which I have said you, that is, state cannot collect taxes of the past records. They have to collect it from today onwards. So any kind of tax which has been demanded by the state but not collected, okay, will be considered as invalid. So today they cannot collect it. They should have collected right then, not today. So this is another. The third is making rule power, that is section 13 empowers the center to frame rules dictating how and when state can impose levies. Okay, so this is something about the article or the amendment of minerals, mines and minerals amendment 2026. Now this article can be debated because it will have a lot of pros and also it will have a lot of drawbacks. Like in the pro, if you see, say now we'll have we can predict the taxation. Okay, it will not be an arbitrary taken by the state government, it will be taken by the union with proper discussions. Then there will be fair and equitable share of resources or fair and equitable taxation by the center government. Okay, it will bring an uniformity, in taxation. Okay, then it will lower the burden. Okay, it will lower the burdens of investors. Okay, next it will also counter inflationary impact. What is inflationary impact? That is, if you increase the taxation of the mines, this will increase the market rate of the minerals, and the market rate will also increase the consumer's price. So basic, this is called as inflationary impact. So one action by the government will directly impact the common citizens of the state. Now the backdrops, okay, or the concern, or the say issues. First issue is that the states are the trustees of the natural resources, because the Jharkhand example which you saw is that the government of Jharkhand is the trustee of the resources of Jharkhand, because they know the area very well, they know their people very well, and also they know about what can be the impact of excessive mining or excessive regulation. So they are the trustees because that is their home. So if they are the trustees within the geography, okay, this will lose the revenue at autonomy. Okay. So it is my home and you are coming to my home and taking away all the resources without my permission, and you are basically regulating and telling me how to run my home or what resources should I collect from my home. So that is something kind of taking away my autonomy of my home. So this is one concern. Second is the concern of fiscal federalism. You know, concern of fiscal federalism. We know we have done this topic in the last current affairs. There was an article on fiscal federalism. So basically, it is the union of states. So the state has been given certain rights and assurance by the constitution in terms of collecting of taxes, in terms of collecting of uh, taxes from mines and minerals, or managing their resources. So there is a division. So this will also impact. And we have seen in the news that the Jharkhand officials or the CM of Jharkhand has said that we will not accept this, as because Jharkhand cannot be treated as stepmother's son. So he gave a reference that you cannot neglect or you cannot use us whenever you need, because we are the region in the we are located in such a region where the country gets a lot of resources, maximum amount of resources from our land, and if we are not benefiting, if our people is not benefiting, then there is no point of this particular amendment. So there could be a chance of revolt, or there could be not revolt exactly, but protest definitely of these states. Even Kerala has denied it, saying that this is not good because this union should not be doing this. But however, if you look in the constitutionally, the union or has the right or can do this. That is, entry 54 says that the parliament can regulate mines and mineral development in the public interest. So union can do it. But yes, here it is the concern or the objective should not be to differentiate or should not be to choose between investment and federalism, but the objective should rather be how to reconcile them. That is, there has to be a balance between the center and the union in terms of use and in terms of taxation of these minerals. That is, we can say that there should be equitable share of resources and taxation. The next article is your Mecca Joint Defense Agreement. Now, this is one very news which is a concerning for India, because it is something which is similar to NATO. Just like NATO, Article 4, Article 5, we have seen that attack in one country of a NATO member is a result of attack to all the NATO members. In the same way, three countries, Turkey, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, has signed a kind of a NATO style framework which is called as the Mecca Joint Defense Agreement 2026. Now this is definitely a concern for India, and we know that how India is losing its hold or grip in the Middle, in the South, in the West Asia, South, in the Western Asia region, how India is also failing in its geopolitical strategies in the Western Asia region, can be a concern when this kind of agreements is signed, again particularly by a country Pakistan, which is very near to us. Now here you might have a doubt ki tomorrow if India attacks Pakistan, will it automatically result like India has also attacked Turkey and Saudi Arabia, just like NATO members? No, not exactly. This agreement is on the line of NATO, but it is not exactly, it does not have the provisions or does not have the working framework like the NATO. There are a lot of things which are to be developed here, because there are a lot of concerns which are to be taken care of if you want to make it exactly like NATO. Like example is the nuclear umbrella. So say like Turkey is a NATO member, and Turkey has developed, or Turkey has a lot of nuclear uh, stations built by USA. So does it mean that tomorrow if Pakistan is attacked by India, so does it mean that Turkey is going to use those missiles which are installed by USA against India through Pakistan? So there is also a concern. They cannot do this because NATO does not have this provision of using their weapons and using their militaries for a third party war, that is the kind which I have explained to you. Because technically India has not attacked NATO members. India has attacked Pakistan only, and Pakistan is not a NATO member. So if Turkey does this, then definitely there will be violation of NATO. So anyways, this is one kind of geopolitical strategy which is done by these three countries to strengthen their global stand in the Western Asia region. But how far it becomes success, or how far it goes into the lining of NATO, is something which we'll have to wait and watch. Now, though this might not be in the line of NATO, but yet we have to look into certain aspects. That is, what are the key provisions of this act amendment? So not amendment. What are the key provisions of this agreement? Okay, the first is definitely, like I have told you, like in the line of NATO, is collective defense. That is, attack in one country will be considered as an attack in all the countries. Okay, next, mutual security commitment. That is, all these countries, they will have a mutual security commitment in protecting their waterways, in protecting their lands, and also sharing of data, security data. This will enhance the military cooperation, where there will be exchange of technology and exchange of human resources between these three countries. Because if we look into Turkey, if we look into Saudi Arabia, and if you look into Pakistan, okay, Saudi Arabia has the money, Turkey has the weapon, okay, or mechanism, and Pakistan has the human resource. Okay, so there will be good transfer or cooperation to enhance their security. Okay, then they will have a defense technology cooperation, and they will also be open to other states. Now, if you look into how can this agreement influence security dynamic in West Asia, definitely this will result into creation of a new security bloc in the West Asian region. Because in the West Asian region, we see that there is a lot of conflicts and clashes, wherein countries like Iran, Iraq sometimes tend to be very, very powerful in front of all these countries. And thus, these three countries, they can create a new bloc or security bloc in this region. Now, shift of regional balance power, just I said, like I said you, that is, the countries like Iran and Iraq, which are comparatively powerful than Pakistan and Saudi Arabia in terms of defense and weaponization, okay, can be countered. Next, implementation of implication of for external power. That is, we see that the involvement of USA, China, and other countries at a large scale in these regions for developmental project and interfering into their geopolitical scenario can also be countered. And lastly, you can say that, as we know, the concern of Iran in West Asian region, what Iran can do or what Iran is capable of doing. So this agreement will act as an shield against Iran. So basically, this agreement was made in the line looking into the destructive nature or the power or the strength of Iran. Now, what are the concerns for India? Definitely, Pakistan factor will be a concern. That is, leveraging leveraging Saudi Turkey's military support against India through Pakistan can happen. It will impact the India Saudi Arabia relationship. Definitely, we have a good relationship with Saudi Arabia in terms of sharing of resources, in terms of sharing of technology, infrastructure, and most importantly, there's a strong diaspora of Indians staying in Saudi Arabia and working in Saudi Arabia. So this will impact our relationship with Saudi Arabia. It will impact the India's Gulf interest. So if this pact or the agreement goes on at a strong intensity, then definitely all of the projects or all the developments in these countries by India will be hampered or will be slowed. Okay. Okay. Now, what should India do? First is that India should always look into its economic leverage. Okay, should protect the economic leverage. Any kind of development, any kind of investment, of India in this country should not be taken lightly, and it should be given of utmost importance, because you know that Saudi Arabia has a good tie-up with India in terms of investment. Saudi Arabia also has made a lot of investment in India's development or economy. So definitely Saudi Arabia will also look into this agreement in a way where its relationship with India is not hampered. It is not India only which will be concerned, but definitely Saudi Arabia will also have to give a soft corner in terms of relationship with India because of its tie-up. Then it will strengthen the maritime security. Now this Arabian region, which is very much you know fragile in terms of maritime security, will also be strengthened, because these three countries, when they share their resources or when they share their militaries, definitely it will enable India's project or India's role of protecting the Arabian Sea to a greater heights. Then definitely India has to diversify the energy partnership. India cannot rely on the Western Asian country in terms of resources, or in terms of energy resources. India has to diversify, and we have seen how India was affected because of the choking of Strait of Hormuz. It is since then India has been looking forward into other countries of Europe, Denmark, Ireland, etc., where they have diversified the natural gas resources. Okay, and India definitely should look for protection of the diaspora, because there is a huge number of diaspora in this country of Saudi Arabia particularly. So these are some of the things, or some of the response India should look after this peg. The next is the devastating 4.7.4 magnitude earthquake in Colombia. So this was in the news in this region of Colombia. See, this is the Colombia, this is the region where the earthquake struck. Okay, this is the region where the earthquake struck. Okay, so this is the region where the earthquake strike, and the earthquake intensity was felt up to Panama and up to Ecuador in this towards the south and towards the north. So it was a huge earthquake. Now, if you look into the reason behind this earthquake, what is the reason behind this earthquake? That is more important. There is a reason. Now, if you look into this reason, the reason is basically the location of the plates. So if you look into this, is the location of your Colombia, and here you'll find the Nazca plate in one side, you'll find the South American plate on the other side. And this, both the plates, one is oceanic in nature, another one is continental in nature. So what happens is that this oceanic plate basically goes beneath the continental plate, and here in this region, this is called as the Benioff zone. Here you'll have the occurrence of earthquake, and this earthquake becomes very severe because it becomes very severe because of the oceanic continental plate. So the reason is the Cascadian subduction zone in this region, which you see here. You have the Colombian region, okay, and here you have the Nazca plate region. Okay, now first is the plate tectonic. Second is the active fault system. That is, there's a major fault which is referred as the Bucaramanga Santa Marta fault. Then you have the Romaliel fault system and the Eastern faultal system, which is very common and extensively found in this Colombian region. And the lastly, definitely the Pacific Ring of Fire. So this is the Pacific Ring of Fire, and this Ring of Fire falls under, or the Colombia falls under the Pacific Ring of Fire. Now, just for a way forward, how will this impact India, or might impact India, because we have to look into it. Though in Colombia we do not have much of trade relationship, or we do not have much diaspora in Colombia, but yet it is important, because we averagely do around $2 to $4 billion of annual trade, and India imports crude oil, gold, and coffee from Colombia, and also exports vehicle, and very importantly pharmaceutical products and machineries to Colombia. The next article is India's Peacock diplomacy at the UN. So this news was a very interesting and a very happy kind of news. That is, India has donated 5 male peafowl, okay, to the United Nations office in Geneva in their park arena. That is, this is a very large park of 46-hectare estates in this United Nations office of Geneva. And this park is very beautiful, and also this park is a kind of an eye-catching eye-catching place of Geneva. And in this park, India has donated 5 male peafowl, out of which one is a I'm sorry, out of which one is a white color and the rest 4 is of blue color. Okay, so blue and white. And why they have done this, it perfectly reflects the official color of the UN. Now, why has India done this? To show India's commitment to conservation of biodiversity, and also by gifting this, India has symbolized grace, pride, and the power of resilience, because peacock symbolizes grace, pride, and resilience. And this is not something which has been done uh, for the first time. Even Prime Minister Indira Gandhi did this in 1980s, around 1980s, where she gifted peafowls to UN parks. And India has done this once again to mark the commitment of India towards biodiversity. Now, if you look a little bit about the peacock from our examination point of view, okay, where are they basically found? They are basically found in woodlands, scrublands, cultivated area, and also they are found near the human settlement. Generally, they are found near the human settlement, not exactly near, but somewhat in the periphery of human settlement, because they do not stay in extremely wild jungle. They have to stay near the human settlements, because they feed on human agricultural products also, and also they are not aggressive, and also they are not that they generally do not attack. Now, if you talk about the behavior, they are diurnal, active only during the day. They feed on insects, seeds, fruits, and other small reptiles. And the very interesting fact about this peacock is that they have sexual diastrophism. Okay, and generally most of the birds, they have the sexual diastrophism, wherein the male looks very different from the female. That is, it displays a beautiful plumage in the courtship dance to attract female. So the dance which you see, I mean, this particular peacock which you see is basically a male, and the males are such colorful and they dance to attract the female. If you look at the conservation, they are least concerned. Why? Because the hunting, and also as because they have this large feather, no other predators also tend to hunt them, because consuming such big, not big exactly, but such large widespread feather animals is difficult for consumption, so they are least concerned. If you look into distribution, natively they are found in India, Sri Lanka, and particularly Pakistan. You will not find peacock away from this region. If you find, you'll find few some other varieties, but they were basically done through captive breeding or etc. And remember this, it is a symbol of beauty, grace, pride, and resilience. That is why you will see that these feathers are also used in various traditional or religious activities. Okay, a very interesting fact, the group of peacock is called as muster. And the last article is Nameri Tiger Reserve. This was in the news, okay, or this was just brought up in the news because of an achievement which it achieved last year. What is the achievement? Let's look into, or what should we remember from this article? The thing is that in 2022 there were only 3 tigers in the Nameri Tiger Reserve, but in 2025 it raised to 12 tigers. That is more than 300% improvement in tigers population. So this is one achievement you can remember, or you can add on to your answers while writing about tiger project or anything else related to tigers. So it is a huge achievement from just 3 to 12 in just 3 years. Okay, and out of these 12, 2 tigers has also been returned to Sonai Rupai Wildlife Sanctuary. Now, what this has been possible under the tiger project, right? under the Tiger project. Let's look into the Tiger project. The main aspect of this article is to look into the Tiger project and look into the other things related to, because this is just a general news for the increase of 3 to 12. Yes, this is fine, but when you look into current affairs, when you look into articles, you have to look for the other aspects also, relatable aspect. So the Project Tiger, 1973, after the UNFC general meeting, Indian Prime Minister comes to India and makes tiger the national animal of India, and to protect the tiger launches a project which is called as the Tiger Project. And since then, sorry, not since then 1973, this Tiger Project has been a very important project for India to increase the population of tiger, and also has been one of the most successful project launched for protection and conservation of biodiversity. Now, this project has increased the number of tigers from 2006, which was only 1411, to almost 3136. That in just 20 years it has doubled the population of tigers. And the population of tiger is very, very important, because tiger plays a very important niche in the forest, because they are the top level predators and they maintain healthy biodiversity in the forest. In today, we have around 54 tiger reserves in India, spanning to around 18 states of India. Now, if you look into the Nameri Tiger Reserve, here the Nameri Tiger Reserve is located in Assam. Okay, and it is located in Assam in a district called Sonitpur in the foothills of eastern Himalaya. It was declared Tiger Reserve in 2000, and it is the second tiger reserve of Assam after the Manas Tiger Reserve. So if you look into tiger reserves, or if you look into the 4 tiger reserves of Assam, one is this Manas. This is the Manas Tiger Reserve. Then you have the Nameri Tiger Reserve. Then you have the Orang Tiger Reserve, and then you have the Kaziranga Tiger Reserve. Manas was the first tiger reserve. Nameri was the second. Kaziranga was the third, and Orang was the fourth. And this Manas Tiger Reserve is also located in the boundaries of Bhutan. And here, this Tiger Reserve expands to Bhutan, and in this region, it is called as the Royal Tiger Reserve in Bhutan. Okay. So these are the 4 tiger reserves, and apart from this, you will have some other reserves or national parks in Assam, that is Dibru Saikia, Dihing Patkai, and Rai Mona. The popularity or some other aspect of it is that it is located on the river Jia Bharali, and remember, it is one among the important tributaries of Brahmaputra. Okay, it is a breeding refuge to white-winged duck. What is this white-winged duck? It is the state bird of Assam. Okay, state animal is rhinoceros. State bird is white-winged duck. Okay, state flower is orchid or foxtail orchid. And if you look into it, it falls under the Eastern Himalayan biodiversity hotspot. Okay, so that's all for last week's current affairs. I hope it was useful and it was also knowledge gaining for you. Please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and also follow our Telegram channel for informative videos and information related to UPSC preparation. So thank you, and hope to see you with the next current affairs weekly session. Thank you.